there's been two versions I've seen of what happens with individuals, and you've kind of become this amalgamation of it all in a weird way. And I feel like your I talk so much about your family because I feel like your family in a weird way has, not in a weird way, in a really positive way, has helped ground and save you from what I've seen happen with a lot of other people. Like you were very much, we went to the same school of 30 kids from, were you there in kindergarten?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you were there in kindergarten and you went to first grade. From first to eighth grade.
First to eighth grade.
And I was there. You were bullied for, like, you were the one who people bullied. You were the one who people targeted. Like, you were that kid, the cliche, the Peter Parker before he had spider powers, right?
Yes,
like,
before I grew my hair out.
That's who you were. And that probably ended around like eighth grade time. I feel like this one started to subside.
Started to transition.
I think at that point, I remember being like at the eighth grade.
We all got to eighth grade and we're like, man, we all made it through this together.
Yeah,
we're all right.
And everyone like loved you, but everyone was dicks to you. And like I had my moment in time with John where I would be that way, and then I remember like crying to you on the steps in like our 20s in Apollo. Do you remember that?
I remember.
I don't know if you remember that.
I remember.
It's fucking weird if I remember that. And you're like, well, dude, you don't remember? I apologize, like really heartfelt about what I did when I was a little kid to you.
That doesn't ring a bell.
I'm just participating.
What did you do to me as a kid?
And John being the Johnny he is like, it's all right.
I get it, man. I know you're probably going through something or whatever, or you just didn't know me the same way as you now. Like, whatever. Stuff happens.
But I kind of feel like that has helped shape your outlook on films as well, more than just your family, because I say your family, from what I've observed, because of how your family's just known to be very loving and tight-knit, and sure, you guys get in your little squabbles like any family does. It doesn't sound like the true traumatic shit you hear from like a domestically violent family. Right, not like at all. Like and I see it, like you guys really do get along, and you guys really do like it's a very nurturing environment with each other.
Yeah, that way.
And I feel like that really helped allow you to, at least in my interpretation, to still be able to socialize and be able to not just become a hardcore introvert. Because I feel that like introvert, extrovert, or whichever way it is for you, I feel that like
bit of an ambivert, I think, is the term now.
Yeah, you're that cool guy who can like bring a notebook to like a busy ass club, and then somehow a girl will still approach you. It's from like, whatever.
There's nothing in the book. It's just scribbles. My handwriting is just that bad.
But so I think that's a really cool way to do it. But I kind of see it in the way of how oftentimes you will look at movies and such. So it got me curious about a very specific movie question I'm not sure you've ever thought about. Ooh. Is there a movie character where you did see yourself the most in regards to this subject matter, where you felt that you identified to it? Maybe it doesn't have to be so literal in terms of bullying, but perhaps the emotion that it generated.
You have a car in the garage?
We good?
You have a car in the garage?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
They were asking if we have a car in the garage.
We have two, in fact.
We keep this in the video. What's going on, Ted? Do we move the cars? I just asked a really deep question, Ted.
Yeah, that's what we like. This is the random, little variables we like to throw in to keep things interesting.
I know how hard it took, like 3 interruptions to get this question on. Now we have to move the car.
This is good. Yeah. Leave everything rolling. This is in real time.
So can you answer the question?
Yes. What was the question? What like a movie character that I would have identified with? I don't know if it's the first, but what comes immediately to mind was I remember seeing Superbad and really vibing with the Michael Cera character, being like, oh, that's a version of me. Like, like I know at least this part of the dynamic, and two, like, Seth and Evan aren't uncool, but they're also not in any clique or crowd, and that sort of matched a lot of my experiences. Like the thing about, growing up in elementary and junior high and stuff was like, yeah, once you get to 8th grade and everyone's like, we're all together. Like there is that. Within that was at least an ability to kind of bounce between groups, because every group or person is sort of mercurial, and even people who are not always prone to being kind to you will sometimes be. And then throughout high school, certainly, like I don't feel like at a certain point I found a few kind of communal homes, but yeah, I was often kind of feeling like I was bouncing between all the groups that existed. So I feel like those characters kind of match that, and just sort of, the awkward, like, you know, kind of semi-shy, but wanting to, you know, you have all the aspirations of like being cool and being the party hero or whatever in some way, shape, or form. And that movie, for whatever reason, spoke to that sense of like, you know, I crave a certain amount of adventure, but I'm also sort of, feeling like this sort of odd little margin creature or something. But yeah, I don't know. That comes to mind. Just the emotional display on, you know, that character throughout the movie just sort of matched vibes I would have been feeling, certainly.